Hey guys, today we're going to talk about storing milk as a prepper for emergency situations. And of course, most of us store dry milk, powdered milk, because it is of course the easiest way to store milk for the longer term. But I tend to also store these UHT, which ultra high temperature pasteurized milks that come in a carton. And I like them because they're kind of easy to travel, they're good to go, and you don't need the water. So if you're in a situation where you don't have water, you still have some milk storage. They of course do not have the shelf life of powdered milk. Powdered milk can last for years and years, whereas this stuff typically has a best by date of 6 to 9 months. So it's kind of a bummer there, but we're going to perform a little bit of an experiment today. The date on this is May 2013. So the best by date has gone by 2 years ago, almost to the day. So this is well past. So what we're going to do is check this out, see if it's still good, give you a few tips on how to evaluate something like this to see if it's still good, and so that you can add it into your preps. There's nothing wrong with having a boatload of powdered milk, but there's also nothing wrong with having a dozen, 20 of these around for emergency situations as well. They're small, they're strong, the packaging is very strong. They don't need to be refrigerated, and you can stack them up. You can stack them on top of each other. They're pretty rough and tough, and you can put them just literally anywhere you got the space. So I like them, and I started saving a bunch of these around the time when my wife got pregnant, which is why this is about 3 years old. She's about 2 now. So I started saving a bunch of these just to make sure we always had some extra milk. And we keep, anywhere between 10 and 20 of these, and we rotate them out. I tend to, if we go somewhere on a day trip, or say we're traveling somewhere, rather than use someone else's milk, we just bring one of these with us. It helps us rotate them and keep them fresh and all that jazz. But here, this one, I have kept aside specifically for the purpose of letting it go this long, just to see how it would be long term. Now, if you're talking about storing a dozen of these, you don't really have to worry about them going bad as long as you rotate them. But hey, this is YouTube. Doing stupid things is kind of what YouTube's all about. So, first of all, in my kind of evaluation of something like this, I'm going to look at it and make sure, number one, is it bulging? And in this case, it's not bulging. The packaging appears normal. In fact, it's a little indented, which says to me it still has a good vacuum seal to it. If the seal were broken, that would have filled back up with air. So it's not bulging. There appears to be nothing wrong with the vacuum seal, so that passed the first test. So everything looks to be good there. The seal doesn't appear to be broken. So we're going to give this a shake, because I've drank a bunch of these before, when they do sit a while, they tend to get a little chunky. So I don't want to gross you guys out, so we're going to shake this up a little bit just to make it look a little more normal. So we're going to open this bad boy up and see. Okay, so we're going to pour a little bit into a clear glass. And when you're doing anything with a suspect food, you should always evaluate it before you eat it. See a little chunk there in the beginning. What happens with this stuff, it does tend to chunk up a little bit, like I said. Alright. Next test is smell. Okay. It still smells good. It smells like milk, normal milk. It has kind of a sweet smell to it. I'm not detecting any foul odors, anything like that. That's your first check. Generally, bacteria are going to produce a smell. So there's my first check. Second test, of course, because we can see in here, we can see that the color is proper. We can see that it's not, you can see like there's a little bit of it kind of separating on the top there. Like I said, that's just from it sitting so long. These tend to do that a little bit. There's no slime. There's nothing watery or funky about it. It appears just like normal milk. Bacteria will often create a slime or a sludge. I'm not seeing that. All I'm seeing is just a little clumpy stuff up top, which I know from experience, and drinking these happens even with the fresh ones. So everything appears to be normal. If there was anything about it I didn't trust, a smell, a texture issue, slime, sludge, anything abnormal, I would chuck it. But in this case, it looks and smells 100%. So when you get to this point when you're willing to commit to drinking something like this, and say, this after 2 years, is really not that big a deal. I'm kind of being a little melodramatic here, but imagine this is 5 years old or 6 years old, and it's a real survival situation. You're depending, do I need to drink this or not? And you're trying to decide. I'm just trying to give you that, ability to think critically about what you're doing. Now, because this is pasteurized, and like that, odds are there's probably no bacteria in this, at least until I opened it just now. Now, if it was infiltrated, there's one of two things that can happen, which is, number one, I drink this and I could get a bacterial infection or food poisoning pretty much, which is where the bacteria is going to go into my stomach, reproduce, and make me really, really sick for a period of anywhere from a day to weeks. That's one possibility. Possibility two is if there's a bacteria in here and that it created a bunch of toxins, because some bacteria do create toxic material. They eat sugar or whatever, they excrete some kind of toxin, and this could actually be full of toxins. And if that's the case and I drink this, what's going to happen is within literally minutes, I'm going to start to feel queasy, I'm going to have a stomach ache, I'll start vomiting and have diarrhea. Now in that case, that will pass as soon as my body eliminates all the toxins. So in order to minimize risk, what you would want to do is drink a very small amount and wait about half an hour. If you feel no signs of distress, discomfort, any problems in your stomach, nausea, cramping, anything like that, you can probably eliminate that there's any toxins caused by bacteria in it. Now, if there's bacteria in it, say if there is, E. coli or salmonella or something like that, you're not going to hear your symptoms for days. It might be 1 to 3 days before you actually have symptoms. So, in this case, I don't, if it's a survival situation, I can't test that. Everything appears to be normal. I'm going to drink a small amount, wait half an hour. If I still feel good, drink some more. So we're going to do the taste test. See where we're at. Alright, it tastes pretty much 100% like normal milk. It's texture's fine, everything tastes fine, so this is good to go. I just took one little sip. Like I said, I will wait about half an hour, make sure I have no problems, and I'll go ahead and drink some more of it. So there you go, guys. There it is. UHT milk, 2 years old. Show you I didn't do any switcheroos on you. It's 2-year-old milk, and it's just as good as the day you bought it. It's a little broken down. That's it. It tastes normal, tastes fine. Like I said, if you're careful about rotating, you can add stuff like this into your stockpiles and easily have, a week or a month's worth of milk on hand for emergency situations, which is always a bonus. There you go, guys. Hope you enjoyed.